Hey guys, this is Darren. In this video, I'm trying something a little different. Just me, testing the vlogging style I've always wanted to try. Because this time, I didn't want anything standing between us. No AI voice cloning, just me. Alright, I have a message for you. So slow down for a moment, stay with me until the end. So 1 month ago, I really had no idea how much Claude code could actually do. I paid $100 for Claude Max just to learn everything that come across my mind. I want to build a website. I wanted to build a software. That time, I didn't even know how front end and back end worked. Honestly, those words didn't really mean anything to me. They were just vibes. Instead of using Claude like chatbot, I treated it like a teacher. I bombarded it with every stupid question I could think of because I was a complete beginner. And honestly, I genuinely didn't expect what happened next. My name is Darren, and if you've been following this channel, you've probably noticed that I disappeared for nearly 6 months. This channel actually began with something quite personal. I lost my pet cockatiel, my lovely little yellow bird, and afterwards, I had this slightly mad idea. I wanted to create a 3D model of him. Not to replace him, obviously, just something that could remain part of the channel. Something that could stay with me and witness how all of this grew from absolutely nothing. That one idea pulled me straight back into Blender sculpting. Then ComfyUI, 103D, and honestly, getting all of it installed was an absolute nightmare. Something was always breaking. So whenever something went wrong, I worked out on how to fix it, recorded the process, and put it on YouTube. And somehow, that became my very first tutorial. For a while, it felt really good. I was learning how to debug problems, how to set up different workflows, and then sharing what I've learned. Someone would find it useful, and every now and then, people would come back and teach me something as well. It felt like we are all learning together, and I really liked that. But after a while, something changed. I realized I wasn't really learning anymore. I was spending more time answering the same installation questions in the comments than actually building anything new. I was fixing other people's bugs instead of building my own things. And there's something else I've never said out loud. Every time I saw someone make a great tutorial or demonstrate the new features perfectly, I would sit there thinking, man, I wish I could do it that well. Every failed take made me hold back a little more because I don't like sharing something half-baked and pretending it's good enough. If I don't believe in it myself, I can't post it. So instead of posting something I didn't believe in, I post nothing. And then I start wondering, if Claude Code can fix these bugs with a single message, why am I spending all my time debugging the same problems again and again? Maybe I could use that time to learn something else or actually build something. So yeah, I went quiet. My iPad was the first thing to pack up on me. The screen just stopped responding, so I sold it and bought myself an M1 MacBook Pro. 16GB of RAM to be precise. What I needed was a proper machine I could take anywhere. Something I could use to learn, experiment, write, and build whenever an idea popped into my head. And that became my new starting point. Then I made a decision. $100, 1 month of Claude Max, and during that month, I used it to learn all the things I've been too afraid to touch before. When I started planning this video, I realized something. I didn't just want to learn how to code, and I wasn't trying to build random apps for no particular reason. I wanted to build an entire workflow around this channel. The writings, visuals, animation, the editings, the whole process of turning a single idea into a finished video. So one of the first things I tried to build was an AI video editing workflow using Claude Code. And at first, I thought, right, maybe if I give enough instructions, enough context, rules, it will simply follow the plan, right? No, not even close. You see, the first version was an absolute mess. I used Opus 4.8 High to build it, and even though I've given it details, instructions, and explained exactly what I wanted from the very beginning, Claude still seems to have ideas of its own. It added things I've never asked before. It ignored the animation sequence I've told it to follow, and at one point, I was just staring at the screen thinking, right, never mind, it is what it is, but trying to fix it. That was the real pain in the arse, because the result wasn't completely broken. That was the frustrating part. It was almost right, but when you're making a video, almost right is still wrong. It felt as though the AI understands the words, but not the feeling behind them. But now, at least I understand where the problem is, and that completely changed the way I built with AI. So what did the $100 actually buy me? It wasn't magic, and it certainly wasn't a button that suddenly turned me into a programmer. What it gave me was a teacher that never got tired of my questions. Before Claude, whenever I got stuck, I would search YouTube, scroll through Reddit, and dig through all Stack Overflow threads. Sometimes, after hours of searching, the only answer I found was, never mind, fixed it. Brilliant. The real problem was that, as a beginner, I often didn't even know what I was supposed to search for. With Claude, I changed my approach. Instead of simply pasting an error and saying, fix this, I explained what I was trying to build. Then I asked, what is this happening? What am I missing? And can you explain it through I'm a complete beginner? That was the difference. I didn't just get a fix. I began to understand why the problem had happened in the first place, and that completely changed how I learned. I used to think programming had to be learned in the correct order: JavaScript first, then React, then the back-end database and deployment. And perhaps, after learning all of that, I'd finally be ready to build something. But Claude flipped that process around. Instead of learning everything before I started, I began with the thing that I actually want to build. And whenever I got stuck, I learned the missing piece. Start with the product, build as much as you can, then learn what you need along the way. I started with a basic HTML page that only worked on my own computer, and eventually, everything I've built became a real product, powered by real business data. It wasn't a practice project anymore, it has become something real. I used the rest of my tokens to label training assets for my LoRa model, and I somehow ended up building an AI animation system for my videos as well. It was honestly one of the most fun and frustrating things I've ever worked on. But I also became a bit addicted to all of it. Every day there was a new model, a new tool, or another workflow to try, and when everything suddenly feels possible, it becomes really difficult to stop. That feeling really hit me when Fable 5 came out. I saw people creating Pokemon games using a single prompt, so I tried to build my own game as well. And that little experiment made me even more excited about getting into game development in the future. For the first time, making a game actually felt possible. It felt like this old dream that AI could finally help me move towards. But that feeling can be dangerous. Because once you start believing you can build anything, you suddenly want to build everything. Every new release brings more competition, more pressure, and more FOMO. And honestly, this whole race is exhausting. Eventually, I had to force myself to slow down, so after 1 month on Claude Max, I downgraded back to the Pro plan. Not because Claude Max was bad. It was too good and I didn't have enough self-control yet. I needed to stop chasing every new tool and finish the things I've already started. Around the time, I joined an AI GC community. That's where I discovered projects like Codeboru, made with Higgsfield, and Zombie Scavenger by Mixshell. The more I learned about how they were made, the more inspired I became. And somewhere along the way, I remembered why I started this channel. I just wanted to enjoy creating again. That's when something clicked. It was time to come back. For the first time, everything I've been building behind the scenes became work I could actually show. I even pitched myself to my first client. Those unfinished experiments weren't perfect, but they proved I could learn, solve problems, and create something useful, even for almost nothing. A month earlier, none of it existed, and I never thought I could build any of it. That's why this video matters. Not because I'm suddenly an expert, but because I finally feel capable of building what I imagine. I don't usually make videos this personal, but I want to share where I've been, what I learned, what I tried to build, and what changed. From now on, I want to spend less time repeating technical tutorials and more time building projects I can show it to you. I want this channel to be a learning diary, sharing what I'm working on, what I learned, and the messy process behind it. That feels like the most honest way to give back. If you are starting from zero, my advice is simple. Learn from people who are good at what they do, study great work, try to recreate it, understand why it works, then make it your own. Don't worry if your first attempts are inspired by others. We all start that way. Before I go, I want to ask, do you prefer this style? And for future videos, would you rather hear my real voice or an AI voice? Comment real voice or AI voice, I'll read every comment. This channel isn't a course. I'm not selling a system or pretending to be an expert. It's just me, starting from almost zero, building things I probably had no business building, and documenting the messy process. If you want to figure out where AI fits for you, or if you want to build something but don't know where to start, maybe this channel can help. If I can start from zero, maybe you can start before you feel ready too. Let's keep learning and grow together. And maybe along the way, I can inspire you to create something of your own. Good luck, stay tuned. I'm Darren, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.